All right, welcome back to the Central Valley Buzz, everybody. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard, and it's time to go to Old Town Mariposa. Mike, let's bring in our buddy, Bob Borchard. Hey, how's it going? I'm going to say good friend because you pointed it out to me earlier that we haven't known each other long enough to be old friends, but we've known each other well enough to be good friends.
And if you play your cards right, I mean really play your cards right, we might even become, at some point in time, 25 years or so down the road, old good friends.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, Bob. Hey, I want to take a little bit of time today and talk to you about the journey that you and I have taken with Old Town Mariposa Show.
This started out as an ad for the gold coin, if you remember, back in April. And it's been a marvelous journey. And you know, we have seasons in Mariposa. You know, we have
real seasons.
Real seasons. I mean, it gets cold in the winter, it gets hot in the summer, and we have fall with all the colors, and we have the springtime with all the colors. And on the season, I tend to start reflecting about where I've been, what I'm doing, and where I'm going. And I was thinking about that a lot, and I'd like to maybe talk a little bit about that on the show with the folks in our community who watch this. We have a lot of people in our community who watch this.
Well, you know what I'm finding, Bob, is I think I'm finding a lot of people out of your community that are watching it, people that are saying, you know, we went up to Mariposa because of what we saw here on the Buzz,
yes.
And it was everything that you said it was.
Right.
So, and for me, you know, when I get behind something like this, it's just awesome to hear that people say, you know, it's exactly like you said it was.
Yeah, the interesting thing for me is that I have people come up to me in the coin that introduce me to their wives, and I don't know who the heck they are, and they know me because of this show. And
you're getting famous, Bob.
Well, famous or notorious or infamous or something. At any rate, where we're going, where we've been. This is Old Town Mariposa, and you know, I've got some pictures that I like to spice into this. But you know, it really is an old town. You know, the miners came into this area in 1848. That's when gold was discovered. 49ers was when the great immigration came, but we had miners in Mariposa in 1848, 1849.
Now, what brought them to Mariposa?
Gold.
No, but the first people that found the gold, did they know there was gold? I mean, what brought them?
Well,
there first?
Marshall had found gold at Sutter's Creek and the flume underneath the mill that they were setting up, and so word went like wildfire, but it had not got to the East Coast yet. And John Fremont, we have a picture of him there. John was doing part of his exploration, and he ran into a group of these Sonoran miners coming up from Sonora, Mexico, that had heard about the gold strikes in the Sierras and were coming up there. And
wait, Sonora, right up the road?
No, Sonora, Mexico.
Right, but does that have anything to do with the Sonora?
Yes, it has a lot to do with Sonora right up the road. But the Sonora miners, about 20 of them joined his group. And he brought him up to where he had purchased a land grant, 44,000 acres, the Los Mariposas land grant. And he was sure there had to be gold on his property too. And they hit Agua Fria Creek. That's cold water.
I gotcha.
Okay. And they found gold. And they came into Mariposa Creek, the Mariposa Valley, where the gold coin is now, the old John C. Fremont.
That's the creek that runs right behind the gold coin.
Right, and they discovered gold there in 1849, and they started laying out the building and the town. The Sonoran miners taught John Fremont how to mine, placer mine, and then they explained to him how gold is based on rocks in the ground. And so they showed him where the ore was, and the Mariposa mine is located above town. It burned down a few years ago, but the old mine works, it's on the photo here. That was the first quartz mill in the state of California, and the Sonora miners showed John how to break gold out of the quartz ore. What I'm thinking is that this show has the potential to inform, educate, to entertain people about our history, rich and colorful history of Mariposa and this whole region. Of course, the population was centered around Mariposa, Hornitos, Coulterville, the mining towns in Mariposa County. There wasn't much in Fresno, there wasn't much in Bakersfield or any of the other valley areas. This was all wilderness. That's why it was all part of Mariposa County.
But Mariposa back then, the gold rush, building the Old Town Mariposa that we know now, it had to be quite bustling up there.
It was bustling, and but it's bustling in a way that it's kind of hard to imagine. When you think of towns, you might think more in terms of a camp, because there weren't many permanent structures. The first building built, and they didn't have any building materials. So the original gold coin building was made out of adobe blocks, and the Sonoran miners knew how to make adobe bricks and build this building. And that was going to be John's headquarters, John C. Fremont's headquarters.
Is that building still there?
That's the gold coin.
It's
the oldest building. And this is why, when I talk about where history lives, this building goes back 160 some odd years. And, when you think about the boots that walked across those floors and the businesses that were transacted there, all the things you hear about in the Old West, or the scenes that you see that are from the 1880s, in Arizona, Billy the Kid and the shootout of the OK Corral, those are all 1880s. This history was written in the 1840s, 1850s. And Mariposa was an old, settled town by the time, the Wild West that the movies make out was going on. So when you come to Mariposa County, when you live in Mariposa County, you're touching something real. I had an educator tell me something the other day. We have perhaps one of the most sophisticated historic gold rush era museums
It's amazing.
in the world.
It's amazing. I could spend days in there just looking at all the stuff there that takes you right back. The kitchens, the schoolrooms, everything. It's amazing.
Yes, and we have a world-class mining and mineral museum. And I'm going to have, in the coming months, I've been thinking a lot about where this show is going. And in the coming months, I'm going to have people from these mineral museum, from the History Center, and I've got another little game I want to play. We have fraternal organization. I know you know about the Clampers, right?
Here we go.
Well, so Ron Loya from the History Center did a thing on the Clampers, and it got picked up by one of the networks, and so it's on TV, and he's going to come on this show and do a little show with the Clampers and tell you the history of the Clampers. But I thought, I have to be real careful with, the politics in Mariposa County run really thick, and I have 3 service groups that have roots in the 49-50 era, okay, that are over 160 years old in Mariposa County.
When you say service groups, what do you mean?
I'm talking about the Masonic Lodge, and I'm talking about the Oddfellows. I happen to be an Oddfellow, and don't say a word about me being an
Just leave yourself wide open like that, Bobby.
I know. Pick up the kazoo and tell me about it. So the reality is that that when I talk about the Clampers, I need to talk about the roots of the Oddfellows and the folks from the Masonic Lodge. And so I'm going to have guests on. Marshall Long, who just got elected as county supervisor, who happens to be a lodge brother in the Oddfellows, and a Clamper. I actually got initiated into the Clampers on his dad's ranch, but that's another story. But they're going to be on my show. They're going to be talking about these groups and the roles they played. When you think about the old mining camps, there wasn't government in California. California became a state in 1850, but it was connected to the United States, but it was a lawless land out there. And the only law was the groups, the organizations that ran the county and the communities. And so these fraternal organizations fit a major role in the historic evolution of our community. And so I want to bring that out. We are doing where history lives. We have been doing things with art and culture. There's another aspect of our community, of course, personalities, and I think that comes out. There's a certain trait amongst people who live and thrive in the mountains. Mountain men and mountain women. I make jokes about it, but the reality is that there's a personality character there that is unique.
And you had mentioned art, and in our next segment, we're going to be talking about art, aren't we?
We're going to talk about art in a whole different way. We're also going to be talking about technology, and you've been involved in a little bit of our technological exploration. We're also talking about science.
And football. Now, I tell you what, Bob, we have to take a quick commercial break, but don't you guys go anywhere, because right now we're going to take a short little trip to Mariposa, and we'll be right back. Stick around.